Be your own inspiration. It is different to teach ballet in Palestine or classic or contemporary.
What is your most favorite Palestinian dish?
I love maklube.
Everybody I interview loves maklube. That's so interesting.
No!
I think when I finish the first block of my interviews, I'm gonna say that definitely maklube. Hello, my name is Diana Asher. Welcome to Dialogue Channel. Today my guest is Shyrine Ziadeh, founder of Ramallah Ballet Center, a first ballet center in Palestine, and co-founder of Wasla Dance Project. We will speak more about it in our interview. Hello Shyrine, thank you very much for being here. It's a great pleasure to have this interview with you, and you are one of these kind of people that is brave enough to start something that no one started before in your country. I know that you're the founder of the first dancing school in Palestine, is Ramallah Ballet Center. So, and usually when you start something that no one did before, this is actually a big risk. Are you in general a person that like risk in your life?
I think yes. It seems yes. I think it's in us Palestinians that we like to risk. I just want to say something, that it's not the first dance schools, because there are dabke before, but because it's the first school that has only dance, like the first prepared, let's say, for only dancing. So this is why it was mixed in all the news, the first dance school. But there were dabke before, of course. There were contemporary, and I came when I found there's no so much dance studios or a space to dance in or to be free. So I thought of this idea. I was dancing when I was a kid in my room, like just watching Egyptian movies, and they dance Oriental dance, and I love it. So I started to imitate them when I was really young. And they started a dance course, like ballet, in my school. I was in St. Joseph School. And my parents, they wanted to put me in it. And I was like, okay, why not? I'll try it. But it was really hard. Classical ballet with a Russian teacher. So I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, but it was the first time in Ramallah, So I was like, yeah, I want to try it. And it was interesting, but a bit hard. So after a few years, I stopped. And in 2002, we had the invasion, the ijtiyah to Ramallah. So I was a bit all the time in my room, like scared, because we were very close to the tanks. And so I started to dance, and it hit me again. So wow, it's making me feel safe. It's true, like a very true story. It started from there. So I felt really safe while I'm dancing, putting music and in my room. So I said I want to go back to dancing when this is over. So I contacted an American teacher. She was in Palestine, married to Palestinian, and I know that she's teaching kids. So I went to her and I told her that I took basics, and I knew that she's teaching contemporary ballet, which is more liberating, without lots of rules. So I said, yes, I want this, and I went back to the dance. I didn't stop, to be honest, after that. Like I always try to find.
And what you mentioned, it's true that you lived in Ramallah, and of course, knowing the difficult situation there, that you have checkpoints everywhere, that you don't have this ability of free movement. I can imagine that kids, don't have like let's say this happy and free childhood, because they always have to be controlled. They always have this tension around them. Do you think that dance is something that can help to prolong the childhood of kids? Did it help you to prolong your childhood?
Of course it helps. Like the idea to open a dance school was for that. To help, to have a space, to just express your feelings when you're all, it's all around us checkpoints, and it's limited, and we live in like open prison. So I felt like we need a space just to feel the freedom in this country that doesn't have any freedom.
So dance is like a therapy, right? So this has like a therapy
It
effect.
is, of course, in many ways. I started to use it as a therapy for myself to feel better, and I felt like when you move, it makes you feel better. And with all the studies, when you move, when you do sport, when you do anything, it makes you feel better. So imagine sport with music and you dance. So it's really beautiful. Why not? So yeah, kids need it. And even when I used to teach, when I started the Ramallah Ballet Center in Ramallah, and I saw kids, they're happy, you know, and they don't want very much techniques. I used to bring professional teachers, or they used to contact me, and they come and to the school, but they're like very serious, you know, to give them techniques and the ballet. But I after that, after like many teachers used to come, I started to look at the kids, and they don't want that. They're like, no, we just need to dance and put music, and it's true. They only need the space to express.
Yeah, because I think they have enough limitations in their life, you know, they just want to have this free movement.
Exactly. When I started, I was very committed. Like, no, I even, like, you know, the name of the school, Ramallah Ballet Center. But I was like, I want ballet. But then it was actually a teacher that came from New York. And she told me, Shyrine, why don't you do, in the beginning, you know, why don't you start to do only activities after school? Why you want to plan for a ballet school? Maybe ballet is not for Palestine. So I was like, no, it's in every country. We should have like, you know, royal opera here. And she's like, yeah, but, and then after a few years, I was like, that's true. Like, why I'm insisting? And I was reading a lot of books for Edward Said and all the colonization. And I was like, oh, maybe it's part of a colonization to open a ballet dance school. Why I am very like fixed on that. So it's little by little, I started, for me also, like, it's changed me. I started to look at things differently, like I need more freedom in my life. And when I started to develop and I saw the kids, I was more open. So I started to search for more modern techniques, more contemporary, just to come and let them, you know, like whatever movement they have, let them be. Like, they create also. We did a dance show in 2015 or 14, I don't remember, but I have it on YouTube, and almost all the dances that they created it with me. I was just saying, oh, maybe we can do this, and they say, oh, and this, let's add this, and I added everything they said. Like, they did all the choreography. So it's about creation together, not to give. I feel like in Palestine, it's not that we want more rules. As you said, it's already limited.
Yeah, but that's also very interesting what you said, because I thought about it now. Like, I don't know so many Middle Eastern countries with ballet, because, you know, ballet is something like Russia, a little bit like Nordic countries, right? Maybe it has something to do with the mentality, because it's a lot of discipline, and so it's, if you see like Middle Eastern countries is more dabka, it's something maybe even more emotional, right? So that's
more cultural dance. Yeah, you are right. More like, to be honest, I was a bit far from dabka, and I got connected with it only a few years, like recent last years of my life, that I started to understand why it is very important to have dabka and to have it in the school. Until now, the only dance that continued, honestly, was, even if I'm traveled, and now it's still, there's dabka. Okay, now with COVID it's a bit complicated, but it's the only class that continued, and people wanted to come and to always dance dabka. But it is true. Like, I did most of my research with my studies about dabka and identity, so it is very important.
And as of course, like ballet, and in the name of your school there is ballet. So what was the reaction of the community, and what were the main challenges that you had to face when you opened the ballet school?
In the beginning, I had lots of challenge, but me, as my personality, I don't look at the negative comments. I try to just say, okay, I want this. I feel it's right, I will continue, because I didn't see anything wrong with it. So because as you know, I started with kids, and in the beginning, when I started, it's in the old city, you know, it's in Ramallah, the old city, Ramallah Tahta, we say it's a bit conservative, all the church, mosque around each other, and only cafe for men. So when I started, it was in the oldest building, maybe one of the oldest building in Ramallah, and it is for the church, for the Orthodox church. So I asked to rent it, and they said, okay, for kids, why not? They were supportive. But the people around, you know, in the street, that they were like, oh, you will open a dance school, like a belly dance, and we don't want a cabaret, or, you know, like that, or a club. So I said, okay, and I heard a lot, and my mom used to come and tell me, oh, they're talking about that, because also she works around in the area. So I'm like, okay, good. So I will open the door, and if they want to come and to look what we're doing, they can. So I did this. I opened all the time. The door was open. I never closed it. The parents used to bring their kids, and they stay, they look, and even many, like, you know, kids, they come from downstairs, like, who's always like curious to know what's happening. Oh, can we look? And I used to say, yeah, come dance with us if you want. So it was eye-opening, and they shift. After a few years, they started to call it art center, dance center, and they changed their mentality. So I think it's really good, because I used to walk, and they look at me like, what she's doing, this girl, like, you know, as something haram, you know, taboo. So I was like, no, I will continue. I smiled. I was friendly with them. They were friendly with me. Of course, they knew me, because it's also my neighborhood. I grew up there, so they knew my family and everything. So it was a bit challenging, but it shifted. But mostly it was challenging when I put it out there on the internet, on social media. First it came out in English, no one looked at it in the Arab world. And when it came out in the newspaper, in our local newspaper, that there's an open dance school for, it was positive, but the comments were very negative online. I was a bit depressed. I was like, whoa, what? Like, what? Why are they doing this? Why are they talking about kids like that? Like, kids, they shouldn't dance. It was really abusive, you know, words like, I was scared that kids can read it and feel bad, you know. So I had really bad comments, negative comments, and it affected me at some point. I wanted to delete Facebook, but it was my work too. So I was like, okay, I have to be stronger. My family were like, ignore, don't look at these. Even my friends, they told me, no, ignore them. So I was like, yeah, I should. So I tried. In the beginning it was hard, and then I said, no, this is stupid. Like, I have to continue, and I even started to share it more online. I said, okay, maybe they think it's bad, but it's not. So they should see it more, maybe, to feel good. Like, little girls, like, opening their legs, it was a problem for them. Like, oh, you're teaching kids to open their legs? I was like, what? Like, it's very harsh, you know, sexual comment to put it under their photos. So I got a bit scared for the kids. Like, I wanted to protect the kids, not to let them think it's a bad thing, you know.
Right.
So,
yes. Oh, and I can imagine that. For example, talking about ballet, now I understand that you don't have only ballet in your school, but I mean, of course, in dancing, there are usually like many in ballet performances or in dance in general. There are usually male and female roles, but I can imagine that it's very difficult to bring Arab men for ballet school. So that would
girls was difficult. But yeah, well, yeah. In that case, you find lots of guys, lots of male dancers. But in ballet, no. Unfortunately, like, it was not easy to bring boys. Some parents were very open. They wanted to bring their boys, like, but the boys themselves, they used to say, no, this is for girls, you know. Like, I had always one boy, he was like, his sister was inside, and he always come and look. And when we finished, he comes and dance, and I was like, please stay calm. I tried to attract some boys, but it couldn't. So we used to do roles, but you know, like how we did ballet in the school, it was mixed from modern to Palestinian ballet because we were like adding our story to it. So it was a mix, like something different. If you look at it, you will not say, oh, this is not classical ballet. No, it's not, because we're not teaching Swan Lake or not Cracker, the real one. Like we did, the show was about Princess Behind the Wall, for example. So we tried to invent roles, and if we needed guys, we put some mask and you know, some makeup. But at the end, I tried to convince the other, because I know many families, so I started to convince people who already danced dabke that they can come at least to the show, you know, to have them to share with us the stage. So yeah, it's different. It is different to teach ballet in Palestine, or classic or contemporary, and it is different that there's no lots of boys, and the story itself is different. So we talked about our political situation, for example. So.
Yeah. And talking about the ballet school now, because you are currently now in France, and how is it functioning when you are not there? So did it become a bit more independent? Do you have like somebody managing it when you are not in Palestine?
So no, it's still there. I left 3 years ago to study my master's. As you know, I couldn't study, so I wanted to continue in the art. So it was art and dance anthropology. So I was like, yes, this is what I need. And it was an opportunity. So me and my mom were managing it. My mom used to help me a lot in it, in financial and support all the time, mentally support. So I said, I will go. She said, yes, go. Because they knew I wanted to study my master's. So it was also an award that I got it. It's like a sign I have to go from the UNESCO, and it's like a big thing. So I said, I can't refuse this. So I said, okay, 2 years, I'll go and I come back. So my mom continued, and there was a teacher already teaching in the school. So we tried to manage online. I was studying, and all the time I'm online with them. It was a bit hard because there was always problems, and with the kids I was scared because it's my name, I'm responsible, and even the parents didn't like the idea that I'm not staying. So it was a bit sacrifice. I was trying to, because I had many connections with international dance teachers, artists, to come to Palestine. They got scared of the idea to enter to Palestine. We didn't have local teachers. The local dancers I knew left Ramallah, so I don't have many options. I have connections in Haifa, Jerusalem. It was hard also for them to come, you know. So a lot hard, and the dabke continued because I trusted the guy who was in it, and he trusted me, and he's managing, so he's doing everything. And you know, with my mother, she comes, but now they're responsible of now in France, as you said, I'm in France, so I started a new project, and it is connecting. I talk a lot, I told you. So, because I'm passionate about this, so I don't stop.
It's called Wasla, right? Or it's a new project that you started now. It's very new. It's from this summer, right?
Yeah, it's very new. So this is the idea, that I didn't want to neglect Ramallah Ballet Center, that I wanted to connect it to France. And honestly, this new project, I found, I met new girls, new women, and they work in the culture, and they work in anthropology. It's like we were very similar. And I was recently coming to France, in December, so the COVID, and in January, February, I was trying to find how I can manage paper-wise to open something or to do something. So it was very complicated with the French administration. So I met one girl and she was telling me, if you need any help, and she told me, honestly, we are starting in another project, and we started to talk together all the time, and video, during the pandemic, it was in March. And we said, why not to do this? This idea to connect Ramallah to France and to do exchange teachers in the future, not with the COVID. And I was like, yes, it's a good idea, but we can do what we can do. So we got out of the idea to have Wasla It's connection. Wasla means connecting in Arabic, and it came from that. And she's of the origin Algerian, Lisa, and Clara, she's French, and and from it we do events, and we connect all the dancers together. And we have like many ideas. I don't want to talk about it a lot because they should be here, and there's many nice events to come.
That's very interesting.
And it's connection. It will be connection between Ramallah, Tunisia, it's North African and Middle East. So any Arab.
Well, talking about ballet, as anyway, you had different teachers, and I'm curious to know like which ballet school do you like the most? Because there are different. There are Russian, Americans. What is your favorite ballet performance?
A lot. So I am really connected emotionally to ballet. I don't know. I love it a lot. So it made me start the whole idea. So I love a lot Swan Lake. This as a performance, I love it. It's for me also emotional. Nutcracker, like we tried to go to watch Nutcracker in Paris, and it was my first ever to watch a live performance of ballet. I always online, you know. So it was really emotional for me. I even cried. I was like, oh, I was really emotional. So I love it. I love classical ballet a lot. But I know it put lots of pressure on the body, you know, and everything, on the mental, on the body. So at the same time, I love to look at it, but I know the suffering behind it. So it's a conflict inside of me that I love to look at it, but I know what girls been through when they are on stage on point shoes. It's not easy at all. I dance on my point shoes, and it took me 2 years until now it hurts, of course, but it took me 2 years to have all blood every time. So I know what they go through. It's not easy at all to put all this pressure on mentally of what to eat, of always, you know, it's also, it's not healthy, honestly. So I tried to look at other dance schools, like more contemporary ballet. More like something more, you know, like you can create from you know, something that you send the messages. So I'm more now into contemporary because I developed myself to be into that. I still love ballet, but for me to dance, I love to dance more in contemporary. Programs that I was in, so it's a mix. I was in business programs. I was in Ashuka, like a change makers exchange, because I got noticed that I've opened the dance school. So I was counted as an entrepreneur in this world of business and startups, and it was really for me something like big support to have this from another perspective, not only art and dance, and it made me feel very strong, and I felt like I'm in the managing role more than I'm a dance teacher, and managing in art and dance. So it's really something I love to do. So it helped me a lot. The most program, okay, I love them all, but I love more the first one. It was She Entrepreneurs in Sweden. And it opened to me lots of more, horizons. Like it was really like changed my mentality, because also I went to Sweden. So anyway, it was a different country, and I love it. And they gave us different strategies, like very different, how to open a business, how to manage it, how to grow, how to have so I tried to mix between art and, okay, I was the only one in the dance, another one from Iran, but we had the similarity, only us, but other people were all in tech, in technology, in IT, and I'm like, okay, nice, I'm not fitting in here. But because I was managing the school and trying to create other projects, events, so it helped me a lot. I felt in the beginning, I'm very disconnected, either business or dance. So I was like, why I can't mix them together? And I reached a point to be more okay with myself and say, yeah, I can manage. And it changed my point of view a lot to be in the business world, and she entrepreneurs, the first, it's really beautiful. And then change makers exchange also give me lots of opportunities. Yeah.
And talking about books, you mentioned, are there some particular books that you read in the last time or that you really love, like those books that you would like to reread?
So I liked Outliers. It's a book. I forget it's for who, but I have the book, and it's really interesting. It gave me. I read it maybe 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago, and it affected me. That how people at outliers, like how they become an outlier. For example, from the society, like how Beethoven became Beethoven, how we knew these legends. So it's really interesting to see that it's not luck. Many people think that it is luck, but no, like we didn't know the stories behind these people, how they are mentioned, why they are noticed, because they work hard. So it's about work, and it's always about work. So this is, I try to remember all the time. And this book really, I feel like there's many books, of course, that I try to read to give me motivation, and this was one of the books that it helped me. It gave me, like, it was a guide for me to say in my head, to say that I have to work more. Like, it's not for example, we see a girl or a woman, she's shining, but she worked hard for that, to be there, to get to this point. So working hard. And others, I love any book for Edward Said. He's like my role model. So I even have it here, Orientalism.
Which one is that from his books? Oriental. Yeah. He's really good.
Beautiful, and it's very hard, of course, to read, but it is very eye-opening. I think every Arab or every Palestinian should read for Edward Said, just to understand more the politics, to understand our roots, and how European or other would look at us. So. I'll try. So my goal is to keep connecting. Like, this is what we started with the girls, the project. My goal is to make it bigger, and because it could go to a good place. So this is one of my goals, is to connect it more to Palestine, and do this bridge, like, between the world and Palestine, at least to have more opportunity for us. This is one. And two is also to have, like, I don't like to plan a lot, to say, the next 5 years, because we change, and look, like, Corona happened and many things were cancelled. So I try not to plan ahead a lot, but I dream of things, let's say. And so if I didn't do it, I say, okay, I'm not disappointed. But if I really want something, I put it in my head, and I say, I want this, and I want to do it. So I do it. I go for it, and I put myself there, and I just do it.
And what is your life motto or your favorite quote? You can choose.
Yeah, that's nice. I always also motivate myself with some quotes. I read online a lot. So I like one that it says, like, be your own inspiration. But okay, don't tell me who said it, or I will not know. It's just in my head, like words that I keep telling myself, like, be your own inspiration. It's like, don't keep searching for inspiration, but just do what you dream to do, what you want to do. Like, be it, and inspire yourself and do it. And I like also, because as we were talking about goals and what I want to do, I always want to do more. So I love this quote that it says, not exactly this, but it says, do what you can now, and of what you have, so you can in the future get to your goal, to reach where you want. So this is why I told you I'm trying now to focus on what I have, build little goals. And I think it's really, it's helping me a lot mentally also, to say, I'm still here, but no, I'm here. Okay, I want to go to the next step. What is it? Just maybe the language, maybe it's nothing, but still, like, so I think it's really, it helps me a lot, this one. This is one. When feeling overwhelmed by a faraway goal, repeat the following. I have it within me right now to get me where I want to be later. So it is.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one. And talking about Palestine, what do you miss the most from home?
Oh, a lot. I miss my family. First thing, I miss everything. You know, I miss the food. I miss speaking Arabic with them face to face. Many things. I miss drinking just like very like details, you know, just to wake up in the morning drinking coffee with my mom and sisters and brothers and talk about stupid things, you know. So yeah, I miss a lot. Everything. I miss every detail about Ramallah, especially.
What is your most favorite Palestinian dish?
Oh, I love maklouba. You know,
everybody I interview loves maklouba. That's so interesting.
No.
I think when I finish the first block of my interviews, I'm gonna say that definitely maklouba won.
And there is a video on that if you want. They shared it a lot online, like old woman cooking maklouba in Palestine. So I think it's special dish because it takes lots of time. Of course, we love warak dawali, you know, it's also one of my favorite. But I don't know, maklouba, maybe it's heavier. So when you eat it, you're like, it's stuck in your head.
Yes. And talking about the feeling, if just, you know, sometimes like we have some associations in our head. And just when you say Palestine, what is the first feeling that you get?
Oh, my heart beats very hard and very fast when I talk about Palestine. I'm very emotional when, like, I think as any Palestinian. So it connects me to many things. My father, my grandfather, my ancestors, the land itself, the buildings, the church, the mosque, all the, you know, the symbolic things. But at the same time, for me, because all my life I'm living there, just now I couldn't go with the corona, but for me it's my roots, it's my history, my everything. So when you say Palestine, it's like it's my connection, my everything. I don't find a word. Like when you talk about, it's home, you know. Yeah. Maybe home. Yeah. Right. It's everything.
Yes. And if you had chance to look back, what would you wish to your 10 years old self?
To continue as that. I think I like myself. I think I am impressed with myself to think of opening of a dance school when I was young. So I think I would continue like that. Like now when I look what I did, I'm like, wow, I did that? So I don't know what I was thinking when I was a kid to do this. So bravo. Continue, I would say. No, I wouldn't change anything, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think I had good childhood. It was challenging. It was nice. It was happy childhood. So I have nothing to say on that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I wish you, first of all, of course, a lot of luck with your new project. And I think it's a great idea to connect of course, with all your projects, because I know you are the person that never stops. So I wish you a lot of energy for all this, and and thank you so much for this interview. And of course, bon chance with your French. I know it's not an easy language, but I'm sure you're gonna make it. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Merci, shukran.
Dear audience, thank you for watching this video. If you like the content of Dialogue channel, please do not forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. And I see you very soon.